Okay, so today we're going deep on something I think a lot of us have thought about at least once. How to, make money from music in this wild west of the digital world, right?
Yeah, it's a whole new landscape.
Totally. So we've got some interesting stuff to dig into. We've got some clips from this video called Music Bible DMP4.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. And then we've also got this article. It's from a website called Music Digital Bible, and the article itself is called Unlocking Your Music Potential, How to Monetize Your Music Online.
Catchy.
Right. I mean, it's pretty much what we're all here for, I think. So whether you're a musician yourself or you're just, kind of curious about the whole music business thing, this deep dive is all about giving you the inside scoop.
Yeah, it's fascinating how many people, dream of turning their passion for music into a real career.
Totally. And actually, it's one of the things that I thought was really cool about the Music Bible video. It really zeroes in on that dream of, how did they put it? It was something like...
Making a living doing what you love.
Yes, exactly. Making a living doing what you love. And I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right?
Right.
But it's like, how do you actually get there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's easy to say, and then the Music Digital Bible article, it talks about all these, unprecedented opportunities. And I'm like, okay, unprecedented. So what exactly has changed so much from, back in the day, like MTV and record stores?
Well, I think back then, your path was pretty much, try to get signed by a big label, press a bunch of CDs, hope your music video got on MTV.
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole game.
Yeah.
And the internet has really, like you said, kind of turned the whole thing upside down.
Totally.
Now we're talking streaming services and social media and all these ways to actually connect directly with fans in a way that just wasn't possible before.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. And the article, it really, really stresses this point about building a strong brand, which I thought was super interesting. They even gave this example of, I think her name was Anya, this musician who basically built this huge following just by posting these hilarious behind-the-scenes videos on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even really about her music directly. It was just her personality.
Mm-hmm.
And people were drawn to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so smart.
It's not just about, having a cool logo or a band name. It's really about, like you're saying, crafting this whole identity that really resonates with people.
Right.
Think about it. You go on Spotify and there are millions of songs.
Yeah.
How do you as an artist stand out? And I think a strong brand is really what helps cut through all that noise. It tells people, this is who I am, this is what my music is about.
Totally. It's like you're attracting the right listeners.
Exactly.
And hopefully turning them into hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Okay, so that all makes sense in terms of, the big picture.
Yeah.
But let's get down to brass tacks here, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are musicians actually, making money online?
Right.
Besides, the obvious stuff like selling merch at gigs.
Sure. So merch is definitely still a thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. The online world opens up a whole bunch of new possibilities. So there's, streaming royalties, of course,
Right.
which is you get a tiny, tiny fraction of a cent every time somebody streams your song on, Spotify or Apple Music or whatever.
Right.
Which, on the surface might not seem like a lot.
Right.
But those little fractions, they can really add up, especially as you start to build a bigger fan base.
Okay, so if I get 1 million streams,
Yeah.
then I can buy a latte.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
But it does highlight the importance of, trying to get your music on as many different platforms as possible.
Existence.
And that's just one piece of it. The article also talked about licensing, which is basically getting your music placed in, TV shows or commercials or video games and that kind of thing.
So my song could end up in a dramatic scene in a Netflix series.
Exactly. Yeah, you never know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it can be a really good way to make money, and it often goes hand in hand with building that strong brand that we were talking about.
Okay, so the more people know your music, the more...
Exactly, yeah. The more recognizable it is, the more likely it is that, someone who's making a TV show or a movie or whatever is going to want to use it.
Got it. So it all kind of ties together.
It does, yeah.
Okay, cool. What about platforms like Patreon and Bandcamp?
Okay.
Because I know people are using those, but honestly, I'm not totally clear on how they work.
So those are all about kind of fostering that direct relationship with your fans.
Right.
So Bandcamp, for example, is basically your own personal online music store. So you set the prices, you can offer like special bundles and, limited edition vinyl, whatever you want.
Wow.
And, people get to support you directly, and you keep a much bigger cut of the profits than you would if you were, selling through iTunes or Amazon Music or something.
That's cool. Yeah. Like cutting out the middleman a little bit.
Exactly.
What about Patreon? Because it seems like everybody and their dog has a Patreon these days.
Patreon is more about like ongoing fan support. So it's kind of like a subscription service.
Okay.
So your fans basically pay a small monthly fee, and in exchange, they get access to, all this exclusive content. So, like behind the scenes videos, maybe early access to new music. Some people even offer things like personalized songwriting lessons, that kind of thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a great way to really like build a community around your music.
Yeah.
And also create a more sustainable source of income.
Okay, so it's less about like individual sales and more about just having these fans that are like invested in your journey.
Exactly. They're invested in you. They're part of the process.
Yeah, and they're willing to, contribute.
Exactly.
I could see how that could be really powerful. The article also mentioned diversifying revenue streams.
Yes.
And I was curious about that because, couldn't a musician just like focus on one thing and do it really well? Like, if they're like killing it on Patreon, why even bother with, streaming or licensing or?
Well, I think it's, it's kind of like an investment portfolio.
Okay.
You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
The music industry is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And so, if you're relying on just one source of income, that can be pretty risky.
Sure.
Because, what happens if, a platform changes its algorithm, or, a global pandemic happens and shuts down all the live venues?
Yeah. That would be bad.
But if you have multiple streams of income coming in, then, you're much more adaptable, you're more resilient.
Okay, so it's like spreading the risk, but also kind of like maximizing your potential.
Great. Exactly.
If one thing really takes off, great.
Yep. Yeah.
But you've still got other things working for you in the background.
Right.
I like that. Okay, cool. So we've covered a lot. We've talked about, building a brand, navigating these online platforms. I mean, it seems like the digital age has like really blown the doors wide open.
It has.
But it also requires, a different kind of hustle.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a whole new world out there. And while we've, focused on the practical stuff,
right.
How to actually make money.
Right.
There's a bigger question, for musicians to think about. And that is, how do you balance all of this, this entrepreneurial spirit with, staying true to your art?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because at the end of the day, the music has to come from, a real place.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about finding that balance, between the business side and the creative side.
Exactly.
And I think that's the journey that, every musician is on in this new world.
It is.
So, to all you music makers out there, keep creating, keep experimenting, and
keep hustling.
Keep hustling, but do it smart.
Smart.
You got this.
You got this.